Hello and thanks for staying with us. Border patrol drill impounded goods worth over 1.6 billion naira in the western part of the country. Also on customs report, the Assistant Controller General of Customs, General Zone A, speaks on the passing out parade of 66 officers as approved by Nigerian Customs Service for the training of arms at Training College in Lagos. Plus more report. I am Egiseme Edinye. Stay tuned. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service and members of his team has been performing their respective assignment as approved by Mr. President. The first quarter of 2024, the service has surpassed its revenue target as approved by government.
Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Mr. Wale Adeniyi, MFR, is doing a great job in safeguarding food security in Nigeria through his planned sale of seized bags of rice and other food items at a reduced cost to mitigate the scourge of hunger in the country. That is the declaration of some stakeholders in the maritime and customs sector in the Nigerian economy, who also hailed the CG for supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's policy to take Nigerians out of hunger and food scarcity.
With food items that are seized, before, food items that are seized are usually auctioned out, disposed by public auction, or we send them to orphanages and IDPs. But for goods that are imported, illegally imported and are seized, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed that we should dispose of this item through direct sales to vulnerable Nigerians. We have kicked off this exercise in some parts of the country, and we believe that very soon we will get to other parts, taking our experience from the lessons that we have learned from the places where we have done it. This very important issue. Food security is a very important element of national security, and there is a strong realization of this when we see the policy thrust of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that has clearly identified this agenda as one of the critical pillars driving the Renewed Hope program. And this also underscores the attention which this Honorable House has given this important subject. We are in a food security situation. Many Nigerians do not have enough to eat. Definitely.
Silence, please.
So many of them lack the physical access. Good number of them lack the economic access to food, not to talk of whether they are eating the right kind of food at the right period. So we are in, therefore, this situation that calls for our concerted action. And as a responsible organization of government, we are currently in the middle of a number of operations. We are carrying out a number of exercises, measures in response to this emergency. I therefore appreciate this opportunity given to me to rub mind with you on some of those things that we are doing with the aim of taking some lessons. First, food security sits very, very solidly within the framework of the mandates of Nigeria Customs Service. There are three principal mandates: revenue generation, which we can use to fund government's programs, smuggling to prevent illicit smuggling of goods, including food items, and of course trade, which encompasses trade, cross-border trade in food items across Nigeria's border. So through a mixture of fiscal policies, special operations, and processes, we have put in place a framework that helps Nigeria Customs Service to help drive the agenda of food security in Nigeria. Let's talk about the framework of fiscal policy. I am happy that the Honorable Minister of Agric that spoke before me talked about a number of measures which the ministry is taking, particularly in the provisions of inputs for crops and livestock. Most of these inputs are imported into the country. We have inbuilt into our tariff structure a defensive mechanism that grants very low rate of duty to most of these imported inputs. And if I have the time to just give some examples, fertilizers, which has been spoken about several times.
It is the strong view of the stakeholders that Mr. Adeniyi has shown commitment and capacity to protect the citizenry by ensuring the availability of essential food items for prompt distribution. Noting that there are empirical evidence to show that more than half of the states in Nigeria are presently food insecure, and the hunger crisis has reached alarming proportion with increased insecurity, inflation, extreme weather patterns, and global conflicts worsening hunger. They submit that it is indeed novel that the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Mr. Wale Adeniyi, has displayed a high level of patriotism to stem the tide of food crisis in the land. It is imperative to profoundly commend the Customs CG for swiftly keying into President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's policy to cushion the effect of food crisis and hunger in the country. His initiative to push.
In the first quarter, NCS demonstrated remarkable performance in revenue collection. Total revenue collected during this period amounted to 1 trillion naira, 347 billion, 675 million, 608,972.75 kobo. The collection for the first quarter represents a substantial increase of 122.35% when we compare it to the same period last year, where we collected a total of 606 billion, 119 million, 935,146 naira. When we do a month-by-month analysis, it further illustrates our impressive growth trajectory. In January 2024, revenue collection surged by 95.6% when we compare it to what we recorded in January 2023. This upward trend continues until March, and we are going to give you the real figures at the end of this briefing. Now, when we relate this to federal government's annual revenue target of 5.07 trillion for the NCS in 2024, the target translates to a monthly revenue target of 423 billion. We are pleased to report an average monthly revenue growth by 6.2% over the set monthly target and a cumulative revenue collection of 18.6% equivalent to 78 billion 675 million 608,972.75 over and above the target of 1.2 trillion for the first quarter. On the second mandate of suppression of smuggling, we recorded a total of 572 seizures encompassing various items valued at 10 billion 593 million 99,654 kobo in duty paid value. Notably, the month of January witnessed 111 seizures amounting to 842.9 billion naira, while February marked the highest seizure numbers of 432 with a DPV of 3.7 billion naira. As usual, rice constituted
about 40% of the seizures, followed by petroleum products at 25%, with motor vehicles and textile accounting for 9% and 6% of the seizures, respectively. During this same period, Customs detained 22 suspects, and appropriate legal measures are being taken in accordance with the Nigerian Customs Service Act 2023.
His initiative to push out all the seized smuggled food items across various commands in the country, especially bags of rice, and selling them at reduced cost, is a very well thought out decision and should be commended. Observers also gave him kudos for coming out to officially give proper explanation on how the initiative will be used to reach out to the most vulnerable segments of the society, as well as the unique step of ensuring beneficiaries of the planned distribution of seized food items have a verifiable national identification number, NIN.
I want to implore you that this exercise that we are doing is meant to create relief for us. We don't want you to suffer because you are collecting a 25 kilogram of bags of rice. And the way we can do it is if we are orderly. We need you to remain orderly. I can assure you that if we have a straight line here and here, we will be bringing you in tens, groups of tens, and it will be fast. It will be fast. So once you have your money and you are in queue, we will be bringing you in orderly. I want you to trust us. I want you to believe in us that we will do it and everybody will get by the grace of God. But we don't want anybody to be trampled upon here. We don't want a stampede. If there is anything close to a stampede, we will stop. We'll have over 10,000 bags of rice. So, but queue up, we are not up to 5,000 here. So if you queue up, it will get to everybody. So in the name of God, I beg you, be very orderly, and we will get it across to you.
It is the first time the customs will be selling seized rice and other food items to Nigerians at a reduced price to mitigate hunger and starvation in the land, as against allowing seized items to waste away in government warehouses, a development which shows that Mr. Adeniyi has made a seismic shift in decision-making, while also working proactively and in sync with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's policies that suit the immediate, short-term and long-term needs of the people. This and other proactive measures in the reckoning of analysts and observers indicates that Adeniyi has again proven that he is the best man for the job in the greater interest of Nigeria.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service has commended junior Course 18 officers for completing their course without failure. He made a commendation in Abuja and said that the Course 18 will further help the service to grow and improve the revenue target of the country.
Congratulate you for the hard work, for the commitment that you have shown over the past 13 weeks or thereabouts. I congratulate you all on behalf of the college administration that you have indeed submitted yourself to the rules, the regulations, and what was expected of you as students during your period of stay. Finished the junior course. You will be going back to the field, and the college expects you to be very good ambassador of this learning institution. If there are things that are prevailing on the field, if people don't stick to time management, if people do not respect queuing, if people do not uphold the tradition of respect for diverse views and opinion, it is your duty and obligation that you have been trained to respect all those values. You therefore owe it a responsibility to always stand up and be counted on the side of what is right.
The Assistant Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Sergeant Zone A, has said that the service will continue to train officers in the service. He made a pledge when the 6 officers in Federal Operation Unit Zone A passed out from a 1-month training in Lagos.
It is my pleasure to be here this morning on behalf of the Comptroller General, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, MFR, PST Dagger, on this auspicious occasion of the completion of the arms handling training for men of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A. I would like to commend and appreciate the Comptroller of Federal Operations Unit Zone A, Comptroller H.K. Ijibuno, for this wonderful milestone. I must say, yourself and the Commandant are blazing a wonderful trail. This is a novelty not only for the zone, but this entire service. It is a message that will carry far and wide to other commands, other FOUs. It is a training that will further enrich the operations of the Nigeria Customs Service, not only for Zone A, not only for the Federal Operations Unit, but for the entire service all over the country. In appreciating the Comptroller FOU and the Commandant of the Customs Training College, I must also commend and appreciate all the officers and men, because we, as leaders, we cannot do it alone. The Comptroller FOU, you have a lot of senior officers and officers working with you who have supported you and have made this possible. Same here for the Commandant. So I would like to appreciate you and your men. My appreciation also goes to the instructors, the facilitators. I am a little short of words. Also to the participants, to say I'm highly impressed would be an understatement. Thank you very much. I personally, as an individual, have learned something new here today. There are things that I've never known that I've learned this morning. This kind of training gives me great hope for the service. In a short few months, I will be retiring from the service, but I can assure you, what I've seen this morning, I know that my primary constituency, the Nigeria Customs Service, is climbing to greater heights.
The Joint Border Patrol Team, Sector 2, Southwest, has recorded seizures of illegal goods with a DTP value of 1.6 billion naira.
The sector, in its anti-smuggling activities, wishes to announce to you the seizures of goods illegally smuggled into the country with DPV value, that is duty paid value, put at almost 1,663,646,360 naira only, and the 52,486,252 naira 252 naira as auction value on petroleum products and other goods seized and auctioned due to their inflammable or perishable nature within the 6 months period I took over leadership of the sector. The goods were seized between November and April, with no fewer than 15 suspects arrested in connection with the seizure, some charged to court and some prosecuted. I commend the dedication, doggedness, and professionalism of JPT officers and men involved in the taxation of these substances, which could have caused more serious security threat and even endanger lives of innocent citizens, as it is revealed that bandits and other criminals are the end receivers of these substances.
I feel highly elected and happy that Nigerian Customs Service and Immigration are doing what I would call sister agency collaboration as against sister agency conspiracy. And that has led to the result we are seeing. I'm expecting more than this, because I know they are capable.
The Customs Area Controller in charge of Upper Coast Command have been speaking on the revenue generation by his command, so that the Nigerian Customs Service will continue to improve all sectors of collection of revenue at Upper Customs Command. It speaks more on a number of issues.
Very much. You see, the ratio of physical examination or scanning is system generated. It's based on the risk factor built into the system. The only thing we ensure doing is that once the system selects for scanning, it goes for scanning. When it's for physical, based on the risk assessment of various importers, it goes to physical. The only thing we are doing differently is that we don't, once it is selected for a particular lane, we ensure that we follow it up and it's done speedily. So whether physical or scanning, we ensure that we do it speedily. And that has increased the confidence of stakeholders. Provision for advance ruling. So they can also come forward to engage with us. We are bringing in this thing. How do we do it? Then we educate them. That period of education will go a long way to reducing the clearance time, because at the time they are doing their declaration, they are doing the correct thing, so that the idea of wrong classification or whatever will not come. So we engage them, the stakeholders. We ensure that our officers also are alive to their responsibilities by ensuring that we don't keep cargo unduly. And you know, the time release studies has also put everybody on our toes to ensure that we don't keep documents unnecessarily on our table. So with that has boosted the confidence of stakeholders in the command. And by now, 9 o'clock, we agree, we sat down and we agree, 9 o'clock, and they're working to it. The other day I was scanning, they didn't even know I was coming. And I met them, I was just walking, I don't want to know that you're there. In fact, when I go, I don't go to the Terminal Head's office. I go to where the operation is taking place. If it's examination, I go to the examination bay, just stay there. So it's in the process of them knowing that I am around, you see them running. So that has kept everybody on their toes. They now know that the CSA can come unannounced. So this idea of late coming has reduced. This idea of you having work to do and lazing around has reduced, because they don't even know when next you visit. And that's why I said that has increased the confidence of stakeholders on us. The stakeholders will only see you there. They don't even know you are coming. Sometimes we met them trying to argue one thing or the other with our officers. Before you know it, they look back, they see the controller. And they are free to relate their problem. And like I told them when I Zoom office, I said, I'm going to maintain an open door policy. And That we've been doing at a very great cost anyway, because some of them call you 1 a.m., 12 midnight, but then we have to attend to their problems. Those who call you at those orders have problems. They couldn't sleep. So if they can't sleep, then if you think you will sleep, you're only deceiving yourself. And that's why my own policy is that let's address those problems so that when you sleep, you can also sleep perfectly.
The representative of the coordinating Minister of the Economy and the Federal Minister of Finance, representative of the Ministries of Industries, Trades and Investments, and other ministries here present, the Country Director, GIZ, representatives from other development partners, delegation of the EU, and their representatives from the World Customs Organization, representative of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC. I'm so very delighted that you are here. I'm one of those people who believe that customs has not been fairly rated over the years. Perhaps we are not crossing our T's and dotting our I's enough. And I believe that with a closer working relationship, we can agree on a common ground on how we can be rated. And we've started already a process of better engagement with PEBEC to ensure that we get a fairer rating. Representative of the Governor of Central Bank, I've had so many friends all over the years. I did use service with some of them. Some of them are here, some of them are not here. And we will get to talk about that much later. Deputy Controllers Generals of Customs, ACGs, very senior controllers, CACs from different commands, the representative of the Director General Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, other members of the organized private sector, associations in the customs, license and forwarding areas, members of the working group for advanced ruling, members of the Committee on Change Management, other distinguished guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed very, very delighted to welcome you all to this significant event, marking another achievement in our efforts to enhance trade facilitation and create a more transparent and predictable business environment for our established stakeholders. Today, we shall be taking the first major step towards the launching of the Nigeria Customs Service Advanced Ruling, starting with the stakeholder engagement which the PRO announced will commence immediately after this launching. Advanced ruling as...
Just before I round up this week's edition of the program, the Controller General of Customs continue to promote the well-being of staffs all over the country. For me, Igeseme Idinye, thanks for watching.